XRP holders, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. Let's get right in today's update and really understand what's happening with XRP as we are going into Monday morning. Speaking about Monday morning, again, we've seen 3 consecutive days of green for the broader market. A lot of excitement, as you can see across the board, a lot of altcoins that are up. Again, if you're looking at it on a weekly time frame, it speaks for itself. But again, Bitcoin had a major breakout. Again, we're going to talk about all of that, but XRP right now is down a little bit, about 1.4%. We're going to take a closer look and see what's really happening. The price of XRP, you can see, it's still sitting above $2.60 to be exact, $2.61, down about 4% on the Bitcoin side of things, with the valuation approaching 157 billion and the 24-hour trading volume at $4 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. Look what Quentin says, gold Christmas tree shaping up. And you can see for yourself, gold has been on a decline pretty much since topping out just a few days back. And again, when gold starts pulling down, is this capital going to flow into the traditional market and the crypto markets as well? Because Bitcoin had a great day today, and even if you're looking at the stock market recently, was able to reach for the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 at all-time highs. Those are factors that we want to be paying very, very close attention to. Now, but let's take a closer look and see what's happening. So the fear and greed index, so you could see for yourself, has switched to fear for the first time since October 10th market liquidation. That itself is quite interesting to see here. And again, this was updated now just a few hours back, and that could really give you a little bit of a better understanding in terms of the market sentiment. Is this the start for us to really start pushing towards the upside? As we know, this week is a very, very critical. We have a lot happening, which of course we're going to talk about, but you can see $21 million in Bitcoin shorts were liquidated in the last 1 hour as Bitcoin has reclaimed $116,000 price point. So major liquidation, and I don't understand why people are still leverage trading. This should be a reminder, especially if you're a viewer on the Crypto ZX channel. If you like crypto, if you've done your due diligence research and have invested where you can afford to lose, then just spot buy. You don't want to leverage trade, because look what happened on October 10th. Those things can still end up happening, believe it or not. Market manipulation is a real thing in crypto, and you want to stay away from leverage trading platforms. But take a look at this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that U.S. has reached a substantial trade framework with China, potentially removing the need for the Trump 100% tariff. This is very exciting, kind of, setting in stone about these whole tariff conversations. Hence, the price of Bitcoin still, stabilized, within the 23.6, and actually broke out, to the 116,300 price point a few hours back. But we're going to touch a little bit later on Bitcoin, but let's continue to kind of see what's happening this week. So, of course, Wednesday is the main event, Fed interest rate decision Wednesday, and the Fed Chair Powell press conference. And obviously, some big companies are also going to be announcing their earnings. But most importantly, take a look at this. So this Wednesday, the rate cut decision, as well as on Thursday, President Trump meets President Xi, who is, of course, the Chinese president. And this is the biggest thing that we want to be looking forward to. And you can see this is a big week. And on top of that, we want to add the monthly candle close for October. So a lot can still end up happening next few days. Very, very important. So obviously, we want to be paying very close attention to that. But look what Vincent says. It's my understanding that new Evernorth XRP venture will raise 1 billion through XRP direct investment, as announced and as we've seen on the chain. So you're thinking, how will that affect open market XRP? Let me explain. There's a next plan is to IPO on stock exchange. So they're talking about Evernorth. This will raise billions of dollars, which they will use it to buy up XRP from the open market. You haven't seen supply shock yet. This and the ETF launch will cause a supply shock like you've never seen before. Time frame, who knows? This is a very good take, very good speculation from Vincent. Again, if Evernorth is building the biggest treasury for XRP and they're raising $1 billion, maybe now they want to go and hop on what a lot of these big entities are doing, going public and really taking advantage of crypto companies going public. There is a hype factor right now. And again, it's obviously going to raise a lot of money from that aspect. Are they going to use that money that they have raised to buy XRP? If they're doing that right now to raise funds To do that, imagine from that IPO capital potentially, obviously, and when it comes to open market, they're gonna go on the open market, not on third party place or like OTC. This is like open market, and this will benefit, of course, the price if a huge chunk of it is being to buy XRP. So these are big things, and maybe Brad Garlinghouse knows something that we don't, because that tweet from him is something that I just cannot, get out of my head. Like, he pretty much stated that XRP is the centerpiece. Yes, you've heard that correct, centerpiece. And that is something we want to closely, obviously, monitor. But take a look at what Andrew says. Recently, we've witnessed Ripple acquired, several companies that they're integrating within their product offering. Add to that, Ripple is applying for a banking license as well as Fed Master account, and the picture becomes clear. Ripple is building a next generation financial institution, and they've planning to dominate global finance. Also, remember Brad recent words discussing Ripple's recent purchases. I'm reminding you all that XRP sits at the center of everything Ripple does. Lock in. This is a breakdown of Ripple recent purchases and how they complement each other: custody, stablecoin platform, prime broker, corporate treasury. Moving forward, CME passes 1.33 billion in XRP open interest. CME is also currently third in global XRP volume. Again, something we want to be paying very close attention to. And take a look at this. XRP isn't chasing hype. It's powering real utility. And again, we know that this at this point: payments, bridging currency, redefining liquidity, and the future of finance runs on efficiency, and XRP was built for it. And now let's take a look at what's happening with the price. So if you're looking at the dominance, dominance actually actually I'm going to refresh live for you guys. So look what happened to the dominance. Your boy Crypto ZX talked about this, and you can see for yourself we went exactly down to this key range for the dominance of 59.5%, but we saw this major uptick. You could see for yourself. But the fact that we reintroduce ourselves to this level is something that you want to be watching very closely. Yes, we did see a little bit of a breakout, but we did see a little bit of a minor pullback for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is breaking out once again, going into Monday morning, looking amazing. You can see, Bitcoin went up to 116,500, saw a rejection, and we're still sitting above 115K key range. But we want to claim back above the 117,000 confirmation, obviously, on our channel. And again, this should really tell you market is preparing itself for this week. I still do expect a little bit of volatility leading up to these events. But, so far, so good. And breaking above the confirmation zone would be very exciting, of course. But let's take a look at what's happening with XRP. XRP also ended up doing something very interesting, something we've been talking about. So I talked to you guys about the $2.70 key range, as you can recall. And look for it. Look at it. We went up to $2.68. You can see for yourself. Just below that key range, you need to understand there is major resistance around this range. Obviously, the bears want to keep the price below. Bulls want to see the price move up. But due to Bitcoin seeing a little bit of a minor pullback, that actually dragged the price of XRP down, and we're obviously being supported from our previous resistance. But again, I am still anticipating this $2.70 to be retested in the next few. Again, let's actually put that into perspective in terms of the percentage: 3%. Yeah, even it can possibly happen in the next few hours as well. If we're able to break out and go above our confirmation zone, I think that could be a big chance. And maybe dominance pulls back down. That would be very, very interesting. I think dominance still showing a lot of strength right now because, of course, right now, the meeting is still going to be taking place. We don't really know what we're going to hear till the meeting itself takes place. So uncertainty aspect, I think, is still quite high there. But the fact that we reintroduced ourselves down to 59.5%, that was very impressive. So I'm going to be obviously paying very close attention to that. Let me know in the comments what your personal thoughts are. Where do you see the price of XRP going? Follow me on X if you have not done so already. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.